Welcome to Evolve and Thrive, the home of practical soul-empowered living and business. This is Victoria Merrihart, expansive shaman and businesswoman. So before we go on, let me ask you a quick question. Have you, like so many of us, become frustrated trying to thrive and to create a purpose-filled life? And has it become difficult to even believe that it is possible to actually create a better world? Well, trust me, we can, and this is how. We all hold a hidden power, a magic that is an integral part of who we are. We all have the ability to access and integrate the power and wisdom of our souls. When we do this, we bring in expansive energies, abilities, and ideas right here in this life, ready to integrate into our practical day-to-day living. So join me here as we explore the how, what, and why of soul-empowered living and business, creating lives that we love to live. Welcome back. Today we're going to explore soul loss and just what can be done about it. The word soul loss might sound somewhat obscure or esoteric, but actually it is very real and it can have a dramatic effect on our lives. Soul loss can keep us from living fully, from finding inner joy. It can cause dramatic pain and unhealthy life patterns. Put simply, it gets in the way of a thriving and meaningful life. Today we're going to explore the what and why of soul loss and the how of moving past it into empowerment and better living. To explore this, we're going to bring some wisdom of shamans out of the shadows and present in modern terms and use. In episode 1, we talked about just what is the soul. This word can have so many meanings and connotations. If you haven't already listened, you might want to give it a try. You can find it wherever you are on this podcast or on my website, evolveandthrive.com. All right, back to soul loss. Where to begin? I think I'll start with a broad perspective for understanding. We will then dial into the more specific and applicable to our individual lives. It's common to talk about a soulless society when we see a group that preys on others and has no compassion. When we see the wealthy taking from the poor, governments that enslave the populace, animal cruelty, cruelty to children, rape and abuse, and on it goes. We call this soulless behavior because there seems to be no compassion or consciousness of the effect of their actions. And of course, the same can be said for individuals. Every one of us can name people that demonstrate these characteristics, be they public personalities or individuals that have caused pain in our own lives. Obviously, if you are listening here, you are not one of the soulless, but in truth, are you fully soul-empowered? There's a huge gap between being soulless and being fully soul-empowered. Most of us fit somewhere in the range in between. Honestly, I'm not sure if I've ever met someone that is fully soul-empowered. The signs would be holding a beautiful, radiant frequency, inner joy, knowing exactly who they are and their purpose in this life, able to maintaining care for themselves while serving others, trust in universal goodness. The list goes on. I assume that what I'm getting to here. And if you are like me, you recognize these signs and have had moments of seeking and even fulfilling them. But then, in between those moments, what's going on the rest of the time? Those of us on this path of conscious, compassionate living with creative impulses and dreams of creating a better world are being prompted by our souls, by our higher self, the voice of our soul. While we are being prompted to fulfill these intentions, to make a difference, to fulfill our lives and life purpose, we may not have the full wherewithal to manifest this drive while also maintaining our earthly needs. We often live in this limbo, or what, kind of looks like a seesaw, moving back and forth between trying to fulfill our soul's purpose, then going back to earning a living and fulfilling our earthly needs, and back and forth between our soul impulse, our soul truth, getting past our programming, and fulfilling our earthly needs. This may not be an easy path to walk, but there is a step that we can take to aid ourselves. The more soul connection and power we hold, the more we can manage and enhance that purpose that drives us from within. This soul connection and empowered is something that we may seek, but why don't we have it already? If we're born with it, if it's an intrinsic part of us, why do we need help with this? We touched on this a bit already in podcast 1 when we were describing what is the soul. To go a little deeper, for most of us, a level of connection is lost simply when we enter this body, when we enter 3D material existence. We forget our true expansive selves, the us that holds greater power and wisdom than we can imagine. This is the amnesia that allows us to fit into the 3 world, to have this human experience. I guess this is just a part of the game. But then gradually through family and social reprogramming, education, we disconnect more and more. In Western culture, we are taught to focus on the body, mind, and personality. Find our place to fit in and be productive. Be a good member of our families, of our culture. Fitting in and being productive are not in and of themselves a negative thing. To some extent, we need these to survive, but they can have repercussions. There is no universal right and wrong, but there is the right to live an empowered life, to fulfillment, to inner joy, and an enriched experience of life. If you're in my age range, you will remember that this was the core of the 60s, the hippie rebellion, which then moved on to the human potential movement. Rebellion against this structured programming and seeking that greater expansive truth that we knew deep down existed was what we were seeking. We may have done it in wild ways, but some of those wild ways maybe were needed to break down the barriers. In the 60s and 70s, greater expansion occurred. Doorways were open. Our world shifted. But balanced living often remained a struggle. During this time, we also started opening doorways to indigenous and Eastern healing and spiritual practices. Again, expansive and often beautiful. Many of us, me included, gave our power, our life focus, away to these programs, to these indigenous teachings, to esoteric, expansive wisdom. This gave us greater teachings and healing, but not always a grounded way of living. What I'm bringing forth in Evolve and Thrive podcasts and programs is entry into practical soul-empowered living and business. This is not about sacrificing our physical lives for the etheric. This is about creating balance and bringing our soul power and wisdom into unity with our mind, body, and personality, to be a whole human spirit being living empowered, fulfilling lives. Regardless of how expansive and knowledgeable we are, or not, we are all experiencing at least some level of soul loss while living these human lives. So let's move into just what does soul connection and soul loss look like so that you can find it in your own life, and then what we can do about it to reclaim our most powerful existence. So first, what are the signs of soul disconnect, of being closed off from an open connection to the love, light, and wisdom held in this higher aspect of ourselves? The signs? Lack of inspiration, trapped in a life without meaning or depth, stuck repeating disempowering patterns, busy, 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 running from life, afraid to stop long enough to honestly face what is going on, doing the same things the same way, somehow expecting different results. Constantly in our heads thinking. Confusion about our purpose, for our reason for living this life. And a true disconnect leads to don't like this life at all and really don't like this human thing. Those are signs of a disconnect. And then at the more extreme, there's actual soul loss that occurs through trauma and abuse during this lifetime and before. Literally, an aspect of us, a part of our incarnate soul, will leave this life when there is extreme trauma. This lost aspect may hold essential ingredients for a fulfilling life, for knowing our magic, our purpose, our power. So these can be the core of depression, lack of self-care and self-love, hopeless, powerless to create a life you love. Addiction, someone else controlling your life, feeling you hold little value, you are unworthy, the belief that there is something intrinsically wrong with you, unable to have healthy relationships, repeating difficult life patterns over and over, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much healing you have done, constantly reliving past traumas and just plain stuck in the past. Those are soul loss at the more extreme. There is hope, and you can get it all back and open to even more. Opening to even more of our soul is a subject for future discussions. For now, let's just talk about recovering enough of ourselves to live these fulfilling lives. So now that you're missing something you might not have known was gone in the first place, what do we do to get it back? This can be the beginning of a beautiful journey. Sometimes a rocky road at times, like all healing, but a beautiful journey. This is where we pull a little mystical, shamanic knowing out of the obscure and into the practical. In my training as a shaman and helping hundreds of people at some level or more of soul loss, I've been able to see trends and ways that people can recover and thrive. I have seen people move from complete loss in a cult to recognizing themselves, reforming their belief and knowing of themselves and the world, from abuse to beautiful self-empowerment, from hopelessness to hope and dream. The same move that I had to make in my life during my healing. First, today we're going to look at getting reconnected to the soul energy in depth to open the doors to this higher aspect of ourselves. In future episodes, we'll talk about the next level of reclaiming our soul loss and even soul theft. And then how to integrate this wisdom and power equally with our mind, body, and personality to create a full and balanced life to allow you to evolve and to thrive. First things first, soul empowerment. In Western society, the soul has become the territory of the church, priests, shamans, gurus. We have been taught to focus on 3D worldly lives, on our minds, bodies, and the needs of our personalities, and to turn over our connection to the beyond to, quote, professionals. In doing this, we disconnect one corner of our existence. Imagine a four-sided table that is missing a leg. It doesn't work so well, right? Kind of tippy? Not only do we lose this precious connection to our higher selves, but we are trained to turn over more and more of ourselves to the control of others. We have been trained to not own ourselves. We don't need this. We can move on. How would it sound if you were taught that you need an intermediary to stand between your mind's instructions and your body's actions? You might go to a trainer or teacher to gain new movements and abilities, but in the end, only you can actually do the movement, right? And you might get instruction or purchase foods that are healthy for your body, but in the end, only you can eat them and not eat what causes you harm. The same goes for your spiritual connection to your soul self, filling in that fourth leg of the table. You might seek a teacher or healer to help you clear blocks, to heal and learn, to retrieve those damaged parts of your soul. But in the end, the connection is within you. No one else can do it for you, and no one else has the right to interfere. Here's what we've been waiting for. Some simple steps to move forward to open the connection on your own. Number one, you need to make space in your life, both time and intention. This is not just about learning how, it's about doing. Just like doing exercise, just like eating right, just like studying. To get into physical shape, to learn a new subject, it takes time and effort. And just like fitness, you can aim at basic good health to make life better, or intense training like a triathlete to excel. We cannot see what we are not looking for, and we cannot hear what we are listening for. The voice, the vision, the vibration of the soul is gentle and requires quiet and attention to connect and receive. So you need quiet time, away from daily life focus, Turn off the TV, computer, news, phone, outside noise and distraction. Give yourself quiet time. Then, thinking and doing get in the way. You cannot open the gates by trying. This is about letting go and being. Too much thinking and trying will actually keep the gates closed. Relax into the quiet. Allow open focus to unfold. If you want to move quickly, open the sacred heart, the gateway to the higher vibration of the soul. You can learn more about this and sign up for a free training video at my website, evolveandthrive.com. And of course, we all know the most effective way to open the flow is individual daily meditation. Whether you do the heart breath or any other individual meditation, I know it can be hard to take time and focus when there is so much to get done in daily life, when daily life is so noisy and demanding. But remember, taking the time and opening the gates is exactly what you need to find inspiration, energy, and wisdom to get things done in a better way. So taking that time can actually shorten the time that it takes to do all the rest of your life. Start forming that fourth leg of the table for a balanced and fruitful existence. Another step is to start some gentle self-examination. Where are you voluntarily giving away your power? What beliefs are you holding that weakening you? What people are you allowing to have control? Are you allowing someone or something to stand between you and your own higher connection? Look for these things gently, carefully. Don't try and throw it all out, but start making steps. And an essential part is, how are you undervaluing yourself? Are you comparing yourself to some ridiculous notion of what you're supposed to look like, be like, accomplish? That does not apply to you. Our society likes conformity, but in truth, we are all unique individuals with unique gifts and unique reasons for living. Only by fulfilling these are we living the lives that our souls intended, and are we contributing fully to this world. We weaken ourselves by doubting and undervaluing ourselves. We strengthen ourselves when we start looking at our own personal beauty. If you are not already, I hope you will turn at least a small portion of your life's time and energy in this direction. Take time for yourself and your soul. Bring this enriching and fulfilling and loving aspect back into your life. Once this doorway is open and becomes a practical part of your life, you are beginning to refill and repair your life through your soul connection. This first step is essential for everyone, no matter how esoteric you are, no matter how much you have studied, no matter how much healing you do. This step, this essential, regular part of meditation and allowing the soul connection is essential if you want to empower your life. Then, if you have experienced trauma, drama, misuse, if you are under the control of a person or tradition, you might need more help to repair that level of soul loss. Continue working with your soul connection and opening. This will ease the path to your own soul recovery. As you open yourself, you may find that right person or process to help you reclaim any aspects that have retreated beyond our physical existence. I or others in similar work can help with this step if and when it is needed. For now, I hope, plead, pray that you will work on that fourth leg of the table, the fourth leg of your own empowered existence. Focus and practice on your soul connection. Thank you. If you would like a transcript of this podcast or other supportive information, you will find it on my website. Next installment, we will talk about why this is especially important for visionaries, change makers, and creatives.